65. Okay, so 72, I would be 7 years old. 8 is 73. 9 is 74. 10 is 75. 11 is 76. 12 is 77. 12 is 77. 13 is 78. 14 is 79. Yeah, 14, 15. About 19. Okay. Back around 1979, 1980, around that time I was around 13 or 14 years old. And I had met some people who suggested that I should do some modeling. And I was very tall already. I was already 6 foot tall, 6'1" at that age, and lanky and long legs and all that stuff, what I was told. With some grooming and fixing up and haircut and training and all that and a little bit of weightlifting, that I could be a model. And that's never occurred to me ever to be a model or to do modeling, because at that time it was more for girls. Of course there were male models, there were a lot of male models, because with female models you have to have male models. But it never occurred to me, because I'm from a little town in Howell, New Jersey, and I was just a small kid. And I don't really look at fashion magazines and all that stuff. And anyway, someone has suggested that to me and told me to contact Barbizon Modeling Agency and modeling and training agency that was in a bigger city of New Jersey. So I'm going to do some research before we put this up, and it was either in Trenton or Newark, Newark, Barbizon Models 1979. We'll have to Google later. And so a letter describing me and pictures of me were sent to Barbizon Modeling Agency and Modeling Training Center in New Jersey. You have to realize we're just 1.5 hours from New York, so it's very nearby. And a few weeks later, we got a letter back. We got a letter back from Barbizon, and I had been accepted to be trained as a model, which means I would have to go to Barbizon and sign up there and also pay a fee and train to walk, exercise, hair, grooming. And then Barbizon would not be responsible, but they will also sign me up, perhaps, they said, to be sent on jobs to do modeling. Sent on jobs means what? That you have to go there and you have to go for auditions for modeling. So I had remembered that a few weeks back as someone was talking about that, and I had it completely slipped my mind. And so when the Barbizon letter came back, I was quite surprised, because we don't have internet, we don't have a lot of communication at that time. But I had been accepted by a modeling agency, which in the East Coast was big. It wasn't massive, but it was pretty big. It was pretty well known, because they have commercials on TV all the time, farming for models to be. In any case, I got the letter, and I was to go there in the summer, because in the winter I would be in school, and to live there for like 6 weeks, 7 weeks to train, and I would have to stay there. I wasn't so much interested in the modeling for modeling, but I thought it would be a good way for me to get away from home, because it wasn't very easy at home for me. It wasn't very easy with my mom and my dad. They had a lot of arguments. There was a lot of fighting, disharmony. And as a result, I would receive a lot of the tail end of that, which is, a lot of punishments and shouting and beatings and all that stuff. So living at home was quite a frightful experience for me, being a kid. Literally, I didn't know if I came home from school, would things be calm, or there would be violence, or there would be shouting, there would be screaming, or my mother leaving, or things broken. It was almost a weekly affair, and that was how I grew up. So getting away to a bigger city in New Jersey and to train to be a model and perhaps make my own money and to live on my own was really a huge opportunity for me to get away legally. And that was really part of my motivation. The other part would be nice to have my own money and to do what I wanted. So in the US, if you're under 18, you need your parental consent signed. And without that, you can't do anything in the US under 18 that time. I don't know about now. So I told my cousins, and my cousins told me they were happy for me and they were congratulatory, because I have another cousin who also was doing modeling in Philadelphia, and she looks spectacular. And I don't know how much she had done because I wasn't in close contact with her. So I just thought it would be an opportunity for me to get away from home. And so my cousins were happy for me, the ones I've spoken to, and they were a little taken aback because you always hear sordid things about the modeling world. At least you do when you're in a small hometown. But in a small hometowns, a lot of sordid things happening too that, people don't realize that are happening in a small town. In any case, I went to my mom. I didn't go to my dad. I waited for my mom to be in a really good mood. I waited for her to be, on a more lighter mood, because you kind of have to wait for her to be in a better mood to approach her with things. Her moods are quite affected by my father and the things he would do to her. In any case, so one fine day, my mother was in a really good mood. She was chirpy, she was happy, and we're in the kitchen together, and I showed her the letter. And she read the letter. She couldn't read too well because she couldn't read English that well, but she got the gist of it, and I read the letter to her, and I told her basically I got accepted into Barbizon Modeling Agency. I have the height, and I had the build, and I had to build up, and I can make some money. And she thought about it. She says, definitely not. And my whole world sank. And so I got up the courage, which I usually dare not. I asked her, why not? Because you see, in our household, you're not allowed to ask why not. Your parents tells you, you just do it. You're not allowed to talk back or question in any way. I wasn't allowed to. If you question, then there could be a very big slap on the face. So I got the courage up, and seeing my mother was really in a good mood, I asked her why not. She says because models have to do a lot of dirty things, and they have to sleep with a lot of people, and a lot of people do bad things to their bodies, and it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, they'll do very bad things to you, and she doesn't want that to happen to me. And I said to my mom, but look, you can be there with me. I was hoping she won't come, but parents are allowed to come along to the training. Parents are allowed to, it says that. And my mom was like, she can't leave her responsibilities at home to be with me for 6 weeks or whatever weeks it was at Barbizon. And I said, but it's an opportunity. And I was hoping that, she would not come along and I'll just be sent alone. And I said to her, but Mom, I can take care of myself. I can watch myself. She goes, no, you can't. You can't watch yourself. You can't take care of yourself. Those people are smarter than you. They're older than you. And they're basically not good people, because people who do modeling are not good. People who do modeling agencies are not good. That's what she said. So modeling and modeling agency people are not good, and they're going to ruin you, ruin your body, and ruin your life. So you can't do it. And so when she started saying that, she started getting a little excited. So I decided not to pursue it anymore, because when my mother starts getting excited and you pursue her, it will not be a good turnout. And I was afraid. I was always afraid of her. So I just saw my opportunity disappearing and kind of going away. But it was interesting because it's something that I remember recently, and it just came to my mind. And so when I finally left home, that was when I was, I think, around 13, 14. When I finally left home and I arrived in Los Angeles at 15 and 16, I was again asked to do modeling in Los Angeles, but it was different types of modeling, and it was also pornography, which of course I never got into. But that's a whole different other story.